Hello, my name is Sirte Pihlaja. I come from Shirute. We are a customer experience agency. I also come from the happiest country on earth, Finland. Finland has been selected as the happiest country for 3 years now in a row. Many of my fellow citizens are not quite sure if this is the happiest country, and I guess that's why the most well-known Finnish export product in customer experiences is called Happy or Not. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the role and the importance of play in business. And I'm going to also talk a little bit about Lego Serious Play as a case example of a creative methodology used to doing just that, having some play and some fun in business. But let me tell you first a story. This story is about George Land, who got commissioned by NASA to create a test to select the most creative engineers for NASA in 1965. He thought that his test was pretty brilliant. 3 years later, he decided that he would try this test on a group of 1,600 children altogether. And they were aged 4 to 6 years, and 98% of them scored the level of creative genius in this test, which is kind of amazing if you think about it. So he wanted to continue on his journey doing this test, and 5 years later he had these same kids as 10-year-olds, and only 30% of those kids scored the same level. So he was starting to wonder what was going on here, and again another 5 years later he did the same test again with these same children, and now only 12% of these kids were deemed measurably creative. So he was a little bit astonished about these results and concluded that maybe it is the way that we're being schooled and trained at school to convergent thinking that drains from us all of the divergent thinking that is creativity. And he has later on proved his point, to an extent at least, by doing this same test to a bunch of grown-ups, over 1 million adults who all scored in this test, only 2% of them on the genius level. So it was quite an amazing result. Play is really something that children gain their cognitive skills. So learning about themselves, about other people, about relationships and communication is the vehicle for this. They do it through play. It's really the most fundamental learning mechanism. It's also said that you learn better when you play, because learning through play is something that happens spontaneously. And when you try out new things, we always construct new knowledge, and it happens effortlessly when you are doing it through play. And that's something that we should all be thinking of as customer experience professionals. How do we create new knowledge and do it in as simple way as possible? Our societies at the moment are facing totally unprecedented changes and challenges. We need to adapt, be creative, come up with new solutions to those problems very, very fast. And if you think about it, we need to understand our customers and our employees. They have totally new wants and needs that they didn't have before at this moment. And if you want to deliver what they want right now, I think that a very good way of sustaining a healthy business is really complying to these needs, and play is an excellent vehicle for creating, firstly, the understanding of what's going on in the world, and also coming up with innovative solutions. Actually, many management thinkers are also saying at the moment they're advocating for that businesses should become more playful, to embrace the unknown and to innovate. They feel that it's the only way to keep up with the competition. Well, more play can also bring about a new wave of valuing other people and relationships, supporting each other in business. It also brings lower levels of stress, a healthier personnel, and helps engaging your employees. All these are signs of a forward-looking company. And all these positive effects, in turn, are bound to propel your business growth, your profits, and your success. I believe that people in general, employees in particular, need to be happy so that they can care about delivering happiness to others. Because when you feel good inside, you're much more likely to help others. You cannot have great customer experiences if your employees are not feeling good. So pay attention to your employees. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi is a pioneer in the study of happiness. Play is often associated with happiness and joy and having fun. And this scientific study of happiness, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi insists that happiness is not something that just happens. According to him, you should really think that it's not enough to be happy to have an excellent life. The point is to be happy while you're doing things that stretch your skills and that help you grow and fulfill your total potential. He is also the man behind the term flow. We all know what flow means. It's depicting a state of pure satisfaction where you find yourself fully immersed in what you do and doing something that requires your creative capabilities. And indeed, it takes significant planning and preparation while setting suitably demanding challenges to yourself and others. How can flow then transform businesses? It's very vital in that because it can help you in a mode of total concentration, enhances your productivity and also enhances creativity. It is said that you can do in 1 hour what most people take a whole day to do in some cases. Play is not the opposite of work. Boredom is. Stuart Brown, a famous psychiatrist and MD who has been doing a lot of research into play, is in fact saying that play is like oxygen. It's something that we realize only once when we're deprived of it and it goes missing, that unappreciated until it's missing. So play is something that is very important to all of us. Creative thinking, on the other hand, is a critical capability. We need to find it within ourselves to adapt and solve problems and be more creative and innovate things. Stuart Brown believes that having a playful atmosphere not only attracts young talent, but play at work also boosts creativity and productivity in people of all ages. According to him, when we make learning a fun activity, we'll both learn better and we make far more likely to use our newly acquired skills. I often hear people say that, I wasn't born creative, I can't be creative. But that's totally misses the point. I think it's even dangerous for people to think so or have this misconception, because it is a myth. It causes many of us to think that we're not capable, or we become uncertain about our ability to do creative things. And then we become soon afraid to fail in what we're doing. A playful organization, on the other hand, has happy, motivated, committed employees. They are inspired and they have fun together. All the while they're performing better. In a business, I would say, that has instilled play, people are allowed to experiment and take creative risks. And when it's okay to fail, it's much easier for everybody. And the whole organization learns and becomes more successful and does that much faster than they would otherwise. By welcoming failure, you're actually helping your company culture mature. Play also helps us connect to people around us. At work, this means that even the most introverted within us find it much easier to approach others because they're playing. And then they might actually give something out of themselves that they wouldn't have otherwise, and find similarities between themselves and their colleagues. Plato, the famous Athenian philosopher, has said that you can learn more about a person within an hour of play than a year of conversation. And I have come to see that that's very much the case. Many times we've had these Lego Serious Play workshops. I've had clients come to me after the workshop and saying that, hey, I didn't know that guy. We didn't know that he was that clever inside of him because he never utters a single word. And now he was playing with us and we learned all these new things about him and how he thinks. Common goals and objectives set by the rules of organized play also help teams become more aligned and more united. It gives them like an increased sense of belonging. And the team grows stronger and closer together. And conflicts also get resolved quite swiftly when we're having common elements of play in our everyday work. So instead of having a depressed and stressed workforce, which is, by the way, a prime reason for lost productivity, organizations can enjoy workers who find their flow effortlessly. They become productive for the company. And in a company culture that advocates for play, people feel refreshed, energized, and learning and creativity get a totally new boost. We want to facilitate change through play and a culture of experimentation. We believe that play has an essential role in business, as it puts you in the right mindset and allows you space to think differently. It's really just that. It helps you become more creative. And the need to introduce more creativity in an organization is very vital to its well-being. But what if your company doesn't want to, or cannot afford to invest in all of these renovating of the business premises? Like the likes of Google and whatnot, where they're installing playgrounds and slides and everything. Well, I have good news for you. To become playful, an organization, and to build a creative environment, you don't really need to go into the footsteps of the giants. You can play seriously, and in that case, it's something that is not about external facilities. It's very much about the ways of working. So in essence, the only thing where you need to invest is between your own ears. So how do you then ingrain play into your working habits? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Lego Serious Play in a little while. So get ready. But first, I want to make a point. I loved Simon Sinek's book and his presentation about starting with why. Every company should have a very clear purpose, and all of the organization's employees should know where this company is heading, what the purpose is, why they should be going towards that big idea. And they should also have accepted or decided that this is something they want to work for. So find your why and make sure that your employees know what your why is. Also, something that I have been personally thinking about a lot lately is that I have been for more than 25 years in digital media. And I believe, as Amber Case, who is a cyborg anthropologist, that we are really surrounded by all of this digital in our lives nowadays, now more than ever. And we're starting to be enslaved by our devices, whether it be laptops or mobile devices or the like. So I wanted to take a step back, or should I actually say a step forward, because I wanted to go all analog, all in, and play with Legos. So those analog bricks. I think that you need to have a creative methodology to think differently than everybody else, because that's the only way of creating really customer experiences, employee experiences, people experiences in general that differentiate you from everybody else. So Lego Serious Play, it's something that gives a new language to make better people experiences. So I think that quite a few of you have played with Legos in your childhood. It's easy enough to approach, and it's a great mechanism, even when you're an adult, to let your imagination fly. and you're going to achieve great business results by using this methodology. And I will let you in on what that is and why that is in my presentation. But let's first have a little look at LEGO Serious Play. LEGO decided in the 1990s, mid-1990s, to create this methodology for themselves. Why? Because they were on the brink of bankruptcy and they needed to do some business changes really fast. And they wanted to do them in a more creative way than people or organizations usually do. So they actually commissioned two academic professors, Johan Roos and Victor Bart, to help them with this endeavor. And these guys, they helped come up with a very solid academic theoretic background to what LEGO Serious Play is today. And in the 2010, LEGO decided that they open sourced this methodology for everybody to use. So LEGO Serious Play, what is it? It's not something that where you're constructing the world as it is now, but it's rather something where you're taking an idea that you have and you construct your model out of Legos and then explain and do storytelling around those models. And doing and acting this way, you will actually bring about new value and add best perspectives to your stories. It's also been said that LEGO Serious Play is a catalyst for change. A change that is, well, sometimes quite chaotic, and big changes. We're also having some pretty important challenges right now. The world is pretty complex around us. So enter LEGO Serious Play. Legos can be used to create concrete images of the world as we see it. They help in building an overview and a shared understanding, and also to come up with common goals within the team or the project or the organization as a whole, which then leads us to a pretty easy implementation phase. Because everybody's already bought into the culture and identity of what they have been discussing. LEGO, when they created this methodology, came up with 4 applications. The first one was, of course, about strategy, because that was their most urgent pressing issue. But quite soon they realized that, as the saying goes, culture eats strategy for breakfast. They needed to have an application to really take hold of their culture and how do they transform their culture so that they would actually lead their organization towards the strategy that they had decided. And then came 2 applications about real-time identity for employees and for the organization as a whole. And then the Beast. That application has quite a funny name, but it really is about things and ideas that we're surrounded right now. It's about big changes. It's about mergers and acquisitions. It's about disruption. So it's a very advanced application of LEGO Serious Play. And then since 2010, many proficient LEGO Serious Play facilitators have come up with their own LEGO Serious Play applications. Ours is called CX Play, and it's meant for creating better people experiences, whether it be customer, employee, partner, or candidate experiences. And there's a lot of different things that you can use LEGO Serious Play for. This is just a short excerpt of the things that I have come up and done with my clients with LEGO Serious Play. But mostly I would say that in people experience development, it's very important that you can use it for customer journey mapping, for personas, for customer journey management, even customer experience strategies. How does a Lego Serious Play workshop then move forward? Well, we first begin with a skills building part where we are actually learning the language with everybody. So people build these small models according to the instructions they get. But then comes the challenges part where the facilitator tells everybody that this is what you need to build, this is the question, this is the challenge that has been posed, please build your own models. Then everybody builds their models, they gather around their tables within groups and everybody gets their turn to explaining their models. And then comes the part where everybody comes and gathers around the common model which is created from the individual models. So it's a shared model. And then another round of play is around agents. So these are things that are added around the common landscape model where they affect this landscape somehow. So even though agent makes you think about a person, it's not necessarily people. It could be culture, it could be institutions, it could be laws, it could be anything that really affects people and the way the organization works. And then scenarios is really about the play. You get to play the different scenarios that happen and play different future scenarios. So that's the fun part where you can easily decide whether or not these things are going to affect your business as a whole. And you don't need to reiterate in real life. So the most important advice I always give to people when they arrive at a Lego workshop or Lego Serious Play workshop is don't think, just build. It's the most important thing. Give really your mind the space to do things differently. So to conclude, I really wish that we all find within ourselves the 5-year-old who we used to be and unleash that potential that we all have. So we really, really can all be much better thanks to that. So please give your brain a hand.